All right, what's going on, traders? Welcome back. Welcome back to another live stream, guys. Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday, guys. If any of you guys are new here, my name is Aaron Trades. I've been trading for about 7 years, and I mainly focus on gold futures and focus on the Asian and European markets. I'm going to be breaking down all markets with you guys here today, so feel free to send in any instruments you guys do want me to break down, and we'll have a look at absolutely everything today. I've been streaming on my own channel for the past 3 years, and now we're streaming the London Open here on Topstep. So good to be back on with you guys. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's had a good week in the markets. Gold has had some big sell-offs again. We watched this sell-off pre-London, and it was an incredible move. We were actually looking to short this pre-London. We went live on my channel from 6 to 7 before we do jump on here with you guys, and I was actually trying to short this on gold, but I just couldn't get an entry. The 15-minute didn't really show me too much, and then you ended up just dropping down like 300 ticks. So yeah, gold has been on a crazy push down. He had a really nice push up. Where is it? Sorry, yesterday. Yesterday New York session. We came up into this very nice double top region. Really nice buys there yesterday, before then having a big dip down here in Asia today. So lots going on in the markets, guys. Big moves. Let me just make sure you guys can hear me all loud and clear. Audio and video good. Awesome. Thank you, man. Thank you. But yeah, happy Friday, everyone. Hope everyone's had a good week. Good week in the markets. Gold has been on like I say, an absolutely huge move. I did have a look at, I was actually watching, since you guys have been talking about it more, I was actually watching NQ last night. And I actually wanted to buy. However, I was hesitant because I hadn't traded it to get all of these accounts. So I was hesitant of all of a sudden starting to trade it. What I basically saw was a big trend line coming down here. And I was like, there's a high chance, same way we trade gold, that we're going to have a big squeeze here. And you end up having a big move. But we'll break all these markets down as well, guys. We'll break everything down. Coach Hoop back. Welcome back. Appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, another quiet night in calls. I know it's just been in the Asian session, following through to pre-London, before the London Open has even come in. We've had this just insane 700 tick push, like 2.07% drop on gold is huge, absolutely huge. I got short here in the Asian session, but just playing it down to the support. Then pretty much, as I decided to get out of my trade, we went and absolutely sent it lower, and it was a crazy push. So some huge moves today, guys. Coming back down to some big daily levels. We'll break it all fully down in a second for you guys. Whilst we're going to break down the charts, guys, let's have a quick look at the fundamentals. And before we do that, where is everyone tuning in from again? Where are all you guys on YouTube tuning in from? Appreciate you guys taking the time to tune in. I know some of you guys are trading late night over in the US, which is awesome to see you guys here. And you've got some guys in Australia, New Zealand, Europe, which is amazing to see. So we don't have any US dollar news in the calendar today. You do have revised consumer sentiment. It's not high impact news, and it's not until 3 p.m. London time. So we got a pretty clear calendar for the day so far, which is good. Hey, salute Aaron. Hey, man. I'm up 800 after being down 300, trading 3 contracts on MNQ. Good, man. Well done on pulling back. Good job. Amazing. Bali, nice. Texas, 2 people from Texas, Sweden. Yeah, USA, nice. London, Australia, amazing. Amazing, guys. Florida, amazing. Awesome. Lots of you guys based in America, which is cool. I know it's super late there, so I appreciate you guys tuning in. That's some dedication. That's some dedication right there. Canada, Egypt, amazing. Dubai, awesome. I would love to get over to. I'd love to do a US trip someday. I've only been to the US twice. I went to New York when I was like 14 or something. I hardly remember it. And then I went to. I did a little travel trading vlog in San Francisco about 3 years ago. But I love America. I'd love to get over to US. We'll have to do a US Topstep American meetup. Aaron Trades from Australia comes all the way to the US. We'll get that going at some point. I would love to. I'd love to get back over more. So pretty clear calendar for the day, guys. Gold's having a decent retracement here. However, we have had a very, very, very big sell-off. Southampton, UK. Nice. Welcome, man. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. We'll end the week off strong here as well. Now, I am going to, before we do anything, guys, I am going to lock myself out of this account because I'm going to take a payout on this one later on, and I don't want to do anything crazy before I get that payout. So, we're up very nice on this one account here. Beautiful, beautiful equity curve. And we're ending the week off strong. I haven't had any losses on the day on this account, which is very nice. I know we were a tiny little loss yesterday. I ended up just making a small 116 yesterday, and I got 358 today. So I'm going to take another payout on this account this evening. So I am going to lock myself out of this account. However, does that mean I'm not going to be trading with you guys? Of course we are. We're still going to be trading. I'm going to use this Asia account here instead. We're going to trade on this Asia account. So I'm locking my London one out, and we'll see if we can get some plays on this Asia account. So let's see what we still have for the London session. We've got London open in about 20 minutes as well. Yeah, we called these pre-London moves sells down here, which the whole reason for this short was, if I just show you guys the daily time frame before I even go on to it and show you guys, this was the previous daily high, and this was my liquidity level. So without even needing to look at the daily, guys, if this is all happening in one day, and you guys want to try and get good at picturing how the higher time frame looks, is we already know that this is going to be a very nice liquidity grab of the previous daily candle. And then my idea was, as soon as we grab these daily highs, I want to be shorting down into the daily lows, which we have already done so quick, which is crazy. So you guys can see here, liquidity level was yesterday's high, which in the Asian session, we came up, we tapped that high, and it came straight back down for this daily low. So we have already fulfilled this whole entire range today, which is huge. We fulfilled this whole entire range. So with that whole range being filled, where's next for gold? Where's next? Could we still come down and hold some of these areas back down at, let's say, 3260s? I think that looks pretty good. It looks like a pretty decent target. The interesting thing that we did spot here as well, pre-London, was this weekly, for the first time in quite a while, is actually starting to close bearish, which is actually really nice. It's better to see this than to see price peaking all-time highs. So if we do close like this week, I think next week we're going to get some really nice top wicks, and then we're going to get some really, really nice sell-offs in gold. Maybe do a bit of an overall correction, which would be really nice for the markets and really nice for us who are here day trading. So decent liquidity grab of the daily highs, come straight down for the daily lows. That's why we wanted to sell pre-London. We wanted to sell pre-London because we were seeing this daily grab the highs, and it was all the way up here. And I was like, okay, cool. You got two equal lows. There's a high chance you're going to tap into yesterday's low. And that's exactly what we did do. So what could we see on gold now that we have tapped into these daily lows? Well, let's just try and understand this from a very neutral perspective right now. What have we done so far in the day? This is the high time frame outlook. We've came up, we've liquidated the highs, and we've had a really, really nice sell-off. So the 4-hour time frame has closed back below a very, very nice level of support, held it, broke lower. So could we hold this and at least continue squeezing down into these 4-hour lows and come and test some nice levels down here, which would also line up pretty nicely with this previous untested level here? Yeah, I think that makes sense. This is just a high time frame outlook. I'm obviously we're gonna drop down to the low time frame and see what we could look for today. But as an overall outlook, it's important to look at these levels. Remember, guys, early on in the week, I think it was around Tuesday, we were saying, you know, if there was going to be a big sell-off on gold, we would likely kind of come up and retrace into this area before selling off. So you can kind of see it's a very large one, but it's almost like a little, you know, little left shoulder. There's your head. There's your right shoulder region. So could this be a reversal pattern, and we're going to see gold come down to have an overall retracement maybe into next week? I think that looks nice. That's just an overall outlook for you guys. So liquidity currently sitting below previous 4-hour lows. Let me just have a look at the... but yeah, again, you're still at very, very large support though. So could we bounce up in London before maybe selling over into Monday next week to New York session? We could. I'm not saying we have to, fulfill this in the London session. I'm just saying as as an overall outlook, these are some pretty interesting levels. Now, we do have the London Open in about 15 minutes as well. And if we do start closing back above these areas, after such a big sell-off in Asia, could we be due a little bit of a correction before squeezing lower? I think that would make sense. It's going to be hard to want to short against this massive push down just yet. But if we do get that hourly fake out and the London Open, and this is potentially a pre-London fake out move, then yeah, that's something we could look for. Let's drop down to the 30-minute time frame here. So if I am going to take these fake out trades, if we wait for price to actually just close above this level, we could be looking to trade about 120 tick range here in the London session, which is a very, very good range to trade. 120 ticks is a fantastic range. Hey, Alan, what's going on? Welcome back. So, solid trading. Thank you. Thank you. Well traded. Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, expensive lion. Yeah. We jumped on at 635 and you had this really, really, really nice push down here. Really, really nice sell-off. But, that's the thing with the way that we trade. We're not swing trading. We are looking for our day trade. So, even though gold has had a huge push down here in Asia, we can still come on and we can still get our piece of this. We're not swing trading here. Did I close my door? Yeah, it's pouring down here in Australia today. Absolutely pouring down. So we can still come on and we can still get our small piece of the pie here. That's all we're really looking for. So we will wait for this on gold. Whilst we wait for this on gold, I do want to see this hourly close and London Open. So in the meantime, let's have a look at some other instruments for the day, guys. Gold's going to need this hourly close because I don't want to be buying this just yet. Although the 15-minute has closed above, I do want to see at least an hourly fake out with the London Open, and then I can look for my buys. And patience will pay because at that point, we can fill this whole 100-tick range. Yeah, I can, man. I can't do it here because I can't fire it up here, which is what I'm showing on YouTube. But after, yeah, we can definitely have a look. Is it? Where are we? I'll look at it once we've broken down all other markets for sure. Looks a little bit rangy here. So if you want to see a breakup, yeah, I'll definitely break that down properly for you, man. No problem at all. Very good morning to you, Aaron. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, man. Good morning. Can you use your influence with the market gods today and ask them to be kind to me on my birthday? Well, happy birthday, man. I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do. We'll see if we get this hourly fake out in gold and we can start looking for some trades. We'll have a look at NQ as well for you guys. I know you had an absolutely incredible move last night, which was good for my longer term stock plays. I know the guys on TopstepTV absolutely crushed these markets yesterday. Very interesting though. Look at where we tapped into yesterday on NQ. Look at where we tapped into. We came down. We tapped into yesterday's low. Yesterday's low. Previous day low, and had this amazing pushback higher. Really, really nice push. You had that fake out on Tuesday. Was it the Tuesday? 22nd? Yeah, the fake out, break below on Monday, break back above on Tuesday. And then you've just been on an absolutely incredible run. So very decent daily close here on NQ. Now, this is the thing. I do look at this and I go, could we be due a correction of some of this move higher? It's like, yeah, you could, but is that something that we want to be trading against? Like, do we really want to be trying to short against this? Not really. So let's drop down to the intraday. What we do on the intraday time frame. Came up, we've looked at highs, failed to close below some support. So we are squeezing higher. So we got some pretty decent levels above. If we do break back above, could we come up and test this pre-London high around 5 a.m. London time? Yep. Do we have anything to the left that we could make sense to tap into? We've got any key levels? We got 19,500 sitting just above as well, which would be a nice psychological level. 19.5, which we can see has been reacted pretty well in the past. So if we do get a breakout here on NQ with the London Open as well, you could be looking to fulfill that range. This was a nice grab of the highs, which if you guys did sell this, this was pretty nice. But, like we always say, although this is nice, the second we start coming into the support and rejecting, you have to manage your trade. So you'd be out of break even at that one anyway. Wow. If you guys can hear the rain in the background, apologies, it's extremely loud. It just started absolutely hailing down here. Hopefully the Wi-Fi doesn't go funny. So we'll monitor NQ as well. I think NQ needs to see a little bit of a breakout. I assume ES will be the same. We're going to have a look at copper here as well. Can you guys hear the rain, or is it all good? It's very noisy here. Hopefully it doesn't come through the mic. Hopefully it's all good. Let's have a look. I've just locked myself out of... can't hear the rain. Cool. Awesome, man. Thank you. I've just locked myself out of my main account here, which you guys probably just saw. I think you guys just tuned in because we have had a... All good. Cool. Thank you, man. We've had an amazing month here, so I'm going to take a payout on this one today. So this is where we took the... these are our levels from yesterday. So we got a lot of the analysis here. We took some... I took some London... Asia sells today on gold. And I got out way too early. I shorted from these areas down into these lows for a micro scalp. Then you just boomed a lot lower. Let's have a quick look at ES. I imagine it's probably similar to NQ. How do you structure your payouts, and how much profit do you usually take? I like to leave at least about 2,000 in the balance as a good buffer. I want to give myself, a good couple of trades. And obviously we're taking out 50% at a time. So I take out, 1,000, half, 2,000. Get a decent push here. We're going to come and fill in these wicks. And anything around that's good. The first time I did get my first fund account on Topstep and took the payout, I didn't leave myself enough buffer, and then I ended up losing it because I went back to break even. So you want to give yourself, a good couple of trades. But, sometimes even if you just take out as little as like $500, which doesn't seem like much, it's... can I turn this off? It's great for the psychology to actually see something coming from all the efforts that you have been putting in. But yeah, I'll structure the payouts just as the balance is growing and as I kind of build up my buffer, and I feel like I'm, been trading it consistently for a while, and I feel like I deserve to see some rewards from that account, and I feel like maybe I'm, getting a little bit, I don't want to say burnt out, but like a little bit like, okay, cool, I've been trading really well, been trading really consistent. I feel like I deserve to pay myself. I just kind of do it that way. There's not really like a certain dollar amount that I will specifically take out. It just depends on how much the account is growing. ES coming for a squeeze. NQ probably going to come for a breakout as well. I am watching gold, guys, because gold could give us some sells into these hourly lows, but I want to wait for the London Open on gold. I do want to wait for the London Open. Let's see this. See this on NQ. Let's have a look at copper as well. I think copper had a bit of a chop day yesterday. We didn't call any copper moves yesterday in London. Looks like he had a bit of a chop day. He had a little bit of a sell-off here in New York session. He had pretty much a bit of a range-bound day. So let's delete some of this. Let's have a look at this daily close. So what have we done? What did we do yesterday? So yesterday we came down, we grabbed lows, we closed bullish. Today we've come back up, we've grabbed highs and closed bearish. So we are creating a bit of a range on copper, which if we look at the high time frame, it makes sense. Why does it make sense? Because we're at massive, massive weekly resistance. Even if we're going to clear this resistance and come squeeze higher, this is going to be a big, big, big reaction level where we're going to create some space. We're going to range before then having a bit of a pullback before potentially squeezing higher. Let's get rid of all this. Let's get rid of all this analysis. Actually, let's do some analysis from scratch here. So what was nice on copper was you played a very, very nice... Where's my trendline tool? We played a very nice liquidity range. We came up, we liquidated highs, had a huge sell-off, came right back down to the lows, and had a very, very nice bounce. So this being at major resistance on the higher time frame, with it being the final day of the week, I would want to be short on copper overall personally. So could we be coming? Let's draw some very simple daily levels here. You kind of got a decent level there that we broke above yesterday. We're kind of squeezing back below. Let me just go. Let's go to the 4 hour. How's the 4 hour looking? Let me get rid of these. We know where our daily levels are. We've got some decent daily support down here. Intraday time frame. Very nice sell off here in Asia. Look at that. You got a pretty decent 4 hour fake out. Broke above, broke back below, held it, squeezed lower. However, we are coming into some nice support here as well. Coming into some nice support. So could we have a bit of a bounce? Possibly. Looks a little bit range bound on copper. We do have London open in 5 minutes as well, guys. So as soon as we get this hourly close, I'm going to go back and look at gold, see if we're going to get any shorts or continuation buys. Let's have a look. 4 minutes until this close. Cool. We've got 4 minutes. So copper sells here in Asia are really nice. Now, what could we potentially see on copper for London? Well, again, London Open is going to be very key here for pretty much all markets. But if we look here on copper, we're coming down. We've liquidated previous hourly lows. We're holding this support. We could be looking for a little bit of a pullback here on copper. You may get some London buys just for a bit of a retracement trade, back up into, let's say, 4.83. Have a little bit of a pullback here. Maybe, at least tap into previous hourly highs as a potential liquidity grab before squeezing lower. Could be interesting. Why are all your accounts not linked? Should be 4K across them all. No, I don't copy trade all my funded accounts. Because if anything goes wrong and I have a day where, the markets, that I do something irrational, I'm going to risk losing all of my accounts. I prefer to keep them separate. So I got, 144 in this one for the day. Nothing here. 240 here. 358 there. I'll try and maybe copy trade like 2 at a time, but the balances are very different on all of these as well. So I prefer just to keep them separate. Keep them separate. And the main one I have been focusing on has been my London one. So as soon as I get a good trade, or maybe that one, maybe I'll focus on some others. But I don't like to copy trade all of them. A big, losing day or a big day where the market is going to test you can always be right around the corner. And I might have a bigger buffer in some compared to the others. So I wouldn't want to potentially hit some drawdowns on them ones, for example. I prefer to keep them separate. How to link components on Topstep X in the order panel. And just order on the same chart. Oh, you mean if you have... so let me just see if we got 3 minutes till London Open. Remember when you could change your chart and just order on the same chart? I'm not too sure what you mean. You mean if you have the order panel here? You mean like that? So that's the same? If that's what you mean, if you change this to the same color that's here, then it will be the exact same. So now if I go GC here, it will change it here. But if I don't have them linked and I have GC here, sometimes I could have like something completely different there and not even realize. So if you have them linked to the same color, it will change the order panel to whatever you have on the chart. If that's what you mean. I may have read your question wrong. What's my thoughts on SMT divergence confluence? I don't know what that is, unfortunately, man. I don't know what that is. Yeah, you need to make sure the color's linked. Yeah, as long as you got the color linked, whichever color you have set here, make sure you have the same one set on your order panels. We got 2 minutes until this London Open, guys. Gold is having a bit of a bounce here. Could we be seeing some hourly fake outs? It looks like we may get a bit of a bullish hourly closure here. Which if we do close back above, maybe we could see the next hour open, pull back a little bit, and then continue filling this range. The only thing is with buying gold is we are buying against a 700 tick push down in the Asian session, which is a little bit tough. Oh, NQ and ES, yeah. So yeah, I will correlate the two. Sorry, I didn't realize that's what people call it. But yeah, if NQ is grabbing highs, then ES doesn't need to, and vice versa. So if I have a double top on NQ, but it's been grabbed on ES, then I don't care too much about the double top. Yeah, we can have a look at oil as well. Let me just watch this London Open on gold, guys. See if we're going to get some buys. It's looking to be a pretty decent fake out here. We broke below. We broke back above this nice level. It's probably going to be a bit of a range-bound day on London. Obviously, that doesn't mean you can't trade. But this is a huge push down here. So I would expect a bit of a range to be created. So let's see if we can get a bit of a pullback here to see if we can have a squeeze higher. Let's have a look. The 15-minute just had a beautiful rejection after having a decent fake out. We have a bullish hourly closure back above. If we can get a little bit of a pullback here, may look for a little scalp here on gold. If we could pull back to these highs, what's this range? 34 tick range. 34 tick range. If we grab these highs, then I'll have to see how we react around here. It's a pretty decent breakout though. 15-minute. Yeah, I'd have to see it pull back. You're probably going to squeeze these highs. The reason I have to see it pull back is because I need a good risk reward. If I can get long from here, then I can, manage risk around there and just see if we can. No, opening and instantly grabbing the highs. That's fine. Gold's going to need a little bit of time in London, guys. Oil. Yep, absolutely. Let's have a look. How did the daily close? Let's have a look. How did the daily close? So we're getting a little bit of chop on oil. In between 62 and 65, 64.50-ish. You grabbed highs, you closed bearish, you held support, you squeezed. So we're getting a bit of a daily range, which isn't the nicest. I think there's nicer opportunities out there right now. You had a pretty strong 4-hour liquidity grab there and a bit of a squeeze higher. So on an intraday perspective, come up and grab some highs. Gold squeezing higher there, guys. I wanted to buy that, but the reason I didn't buy it is because there's no risk to reward. I had to see it pull back a little bit in order for me to want to buy that. But to come up and grab these hourly highs for a quick little scalp was nice. I just want to see a little bit of a pullback. I'm going to have to give gold some time. Let's have a look. Where were we? Let's go to the hourly. So look at that. That's pretty nice, actually. You came down, you've liquidated lows, you've closed bullish. Oil longs look good. Oil longs do look nice. I don't day trade this, but I'm just breaking it down for you guys. But you have closed back above this major resistance. You're holding it. So there's probably a high chance you'll continue squeezing these highs here. Now, how big of a range is that going to be? Very small. It's pretty small. But that's a very nice morning star play there. You've rejected. You've grabbed the lows. Held the support. Had a nice little bottom wick. And had a decent squeeze. So shorts would be absolutely off the cards for me unless you close back below. So you got a pretty easy bullish bias on oil. How high could you come? You would probably look to manage. Where's my tool gone? Where's my? I've lost my tool. Where's my tool gone? Oh, here we go. There we go. You probably look to manage back up at these highs around like 63.50, but that was a pretty decent break back above. You just have to manage around these highs, which is a pretty small range because there's nothing to say you can't grab these highs and pull back. So if I was buying oil, these highs here would be a decent management point. Gold opening and having a nice little squeeze higher as well. Did NQ and ES break out? Kind of. You have broken. Well, I've just broken it all. What have I just done? You kind of did have a breakout here. Broke back above the range. Is it enough to want to buy it though? I mean, you may fill in this week. Tap into at 19,500, but it's a little bit of a range. It's a bit of a tough range. I don't love that breakout. Gold is just pushing. I don't love that range personally. And like I said, I wouldn't really want to be trading against this. So, if you break back below, could you look for a bit of a pullback? You could, but I see this big push up. I'm like, I wouldn't really want to be trading against that. Platinum looks interesting. Let's have a look, man. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the daily. Let's get rid of all of this analysis for a second. Remember, guys, it is Friday, so it's important to just have a quick little browse at the weekly candle, which is what we've seen recently on Platinum. We've held some major weekly support. We have squeezed back higher. We've tapped into weekly highs. We're having a bit of a pullback. Could we come down and retrace into some weekly lows? Let's see. Daily time frame, holding some big resistance. Had a strong push up on Wednesday. Doji yesterday at the resistance. Now having a decent pullback. You've had a lot of movement there on pretty much all markets. Now, I don't know if I've never traded platinum before, but if this was gold, again, you guys who trade this before probably know better than me, but if this was gold, this would be a really nice liquidity level. But I just don't know if platinum comes up to grab highs and lows before a move. If it if it does, I would say this high here would be a really nice target, and you're kind of forming a inverse head and shoulders. So if you can hold some of these areas, start to break back above, yeah, you may get some buys into here. I wouldn't really want to be selling this personally. If you were looking to short platinum, you know, it was back up at the highs, but now you've already had a very, very decent push here in Asia. I would be looking to see if we can form some support to continue pushing up, which if you were looking at something similar, yeah, I would say a bit of a pullback. So who asked for the who asked for the platinum analysis? For the guys who asked about the platinum analysis, is that something similar that you are looking at? Because if it is, it's looking interesting. It's kind of similar to gold. You have had a very, very big push down here pre-London, but again, you're coming into a very, very strong area, which I wouldn't be too surprised to have a bit of a bounce from. But it's just, you know, it's a little bit tough trading. It's such a big push down, which is what we've seen a lot recently in the London session. You've had these huge pushes down before the London's even started, and that's why, you know, you could also just create a little bit of space before, you know, maybe coming down, grabbing some lows, and then pulling back later on. So, yeah, I would be expecting a little bit of a range here on platinum in the London session anyway, until at least, you know, like 10 to 11 a.m. Only because you have had such a big push down, which is the same thing as gold. You know, gold has had a phenomenal push down today in London. That's why I wouldn't really be too surprised to see gold just kind of create a bit of a range in the London session before maybe getting either bought up or sold later on. Gold having a decent squeeze here, guys. I wanted these buys, but I just couldn't really see a risk to reward. But that is a really nice breakout there. What's that? 43 ticks. 43 ticks. And 3-minute candles, yeah. Cool. We'll continue to keep an eye on it. So what's looking the nice of today? Someone said, I think, someone mentioned a currency pair. Let me have a look. I think someone asked for a currency pair. I can't remember what it was. Someone asked for a currency pair. Can't remember. We'll have a look at it. We'll have a look at it anyway. Let's have a look at the euro. Where are we? Wrong chat. Let's have a look at the euro. Euro USD, yeah, cool. Let's have a look at the euro. So what we've seen so far this week. Let me see. Let's have a look. Let's get rid of some of this analysis for a second. You've actually done very similar to gold. You've just tapped right into previous day lows and actually had a very decent rejection. So let's have a quick look at the weekly because we are on to Friday. How has this week been so far? Wow, look at that. Huge liquidity grab of 2 weekly equal highs. 2 weekly equal highs, massive, massive grab. So whether we do it today or not, if we don't do it today, next week, shorts down into this weekly low look very, very nice, which actually sits perfectly at 1.13. So shorts into 1.13, whether it happens, like I say, today or into next week, as an overall outlook, also tapping into previous weekly lows, does look very nice. But what could we see for London? Well, let's have a look. We've grabbed this weekly high. We've had an aggressive fake back below. Push down on 23rd, which was Wednesday. Break back above yesterday, so a little bit of a daily range. Let's have a look at the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame, you got some decent liquidity sitting down here as well. You got some nice lows sitting down here. Yeah, missed the waterfall age. Yeah, same as gold. You had a really big push down today. Really big push down, which just means you have to be a little bit more patient in the London session. Now, could we be squeezing some highs before a pullback? I would be looking for, if we can grab these highs, fake out and close back below. I think some shorts do look nice here. You had a very nice liquidity grab in the Asian session, which is exactly the same as gold. You came up, grabbed the highs, really strong push down here. Again, this is a big move pre-London, which, you know, if you guys do just trade London, you don't trade Asia, you know, it can be a little bit frustrating, but you just have to accept it and be a little bit more patient, because you're still going to get some decent moves today. But after such a big move, I wouldn't be too surprised to see a little bit of a range. But I personally would be seeing if you can break above this high, break back below, and then look for a nice fake out opportunity. Kind of similar to here. At these highs, we broke above the resistance, buyers get trapped, you grab the highs and close straight back below, and then that's where you want to get short. Exactly the same as gold. So I'd be looking for pretty much the exact same here, just at these highs here. Break back above the resistance, bring in some buyers, and then I'd be looking to see if you could squeeze the euro back down into, let's say, 1.135. Looks like a very decent area. And then next week, 1.3 looks very interesting as well. Some very interesting levels. Gold is being a little bit tough here, guys. I'm watching it on my other chart. Gold has been a little bit tough, which again is completely expected after such a big move down. I'm expecting a bit of a range here on gold today in the London session, because like I say, this is a huge push down. The nice thing about this short was, which you guys hear us talk about all the time, is we were selling into where most people were trying to buy. I would imagine this area here was a massive bull trap on gold. Lots of people trying to buy here. Where they sit their stops? Just below the low, which is also previous day low. Come down and rip that beautifully. So you have grabbed liquidity on both sides on gold, which is why it makes it a little bit tough. We had this amazing sell-off in Asia after grabbing the highs, forming this beautiful evening star. And now you have also grabbed the lows. So we have grabbed a lot of liquidity. I do like gold to continue selling off into this support, but that's just an overall outlook. I'm just trying to think of what can happen in, you know, the next hour that we're going to be here for. And it's not super clear unless, you know, if this 30-minute can close back below this support, I'll absolutely sell that with you guys. I'll sell this all the way down into these lows and back down into here, which would be a great trade. But this is already such a big move down here. Could we continue selling? Yeah, I mean, you could, but it already is such a big push down. Such a big push down. Holding on at 33.29. Yeah, nice. 33.29 from back up here. Beautiful. Amazing. Good hold. Very good hold. So you're going to have to be a little bit patient on gold today, guys, only because it has had such a big move down in Asia and pre-London. That's why it's always good to watch their markets before as well. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I'm just going to run to the bathroom, grab a tissue, and be right back. It'll be 2 seconds. God, so what are we up to, Goldie? What are we up to? What are we doing today, Goldie? Coming back in some very big levels. Goldie is going to require patience. I don't think it's going to be a plain sale. Oh, look at this on NQ, having a bit of a pullback here. Did you grab any of the highs? Not quite. We're having a pretty decent breakout there at NQ on the 5-minute. If you guys are looking for a short, if you want to do, you know, retrace some of this move, back down into these lows would make sense. Me personally, I wouldn't be trading against yesterday's move, but if you break back below here, could you squeeze into these lows? Yeah, probably. Probably. Do you consider previous liquidity grabs as support and resistance, like what we're seeing gold retesting previous liquidity grab? Yeah, you can. Let's go back to the chart. Where do we do our analysis here? You can. I kind of, to be honest, once the liquidity has been grabbed, then I kind of just, like, I'll look at this right now and just be like, yeah, you know, this is a decent liquidity grab here. But I'm also just kind of keep it a little bit more simple than that and just be like, oh, this is a pretty decent level of resistance, which if we drag this across, you can see it's a big level. Look at this 4 hour on gold. This 4 hour is going to have a decent reaction here. That's the thing, you know, we bounced off the resistance, which was beautiful, and now we're right back at support and having a huge bounce here already. Look at this. What a recovery here on gold after such a big pre-London sell-off. You just broken back above and you pushed. Like I say, I wanted to take this 15-minute push, but there was just no risk to reward. If there's no risk to reward, then there's no trade. You know, I wanted this buy here, but you know, where's my stop going to go? All the way down here. I don't know how high you're going to squeeze, so yeah, it's a little bit tough on Goldie. A little bit tough. That's why we were shorting pre-London, but now we are at these levels. Especially back at this hourly resistance as well. That was where if I was buying gold for a pullback, it was back to here, which you're basically already there. Big level. Let's have a look at copper as well. Copper trying to have a... I mean, copper for a pullback actually looks the nicest. You have some liquidity above. You haven't quite grabbed the hourly highs. 15 did just grab highs and close bearish though, so unless you close back above, you may squeeze copper up for a little scalp here in London. What's this? This is about a 40 tick play, which copper does move at 12.50 per tick. Not a bad little outlook there. How was that 15 close on gold? Strong. Let's see. I mean, could you short NQ on the break of the low? If this re-breaks these lows, could you have a bit of a pullback? I think that's pretty logical. You've just broken out nicely of this range after forming this sort of a little head and shoulders area. Could you come back down and test these lows from Asia? That could actually be a little short trade if anyone is one to take it, short it back down to these lows. It's a very small scalp though. A very small scalp. Be a very small scalp. Then about NQ now this morning. Yeah, it looks a bit tough. It looks pretty tough. It's kind of tough to short it after yesterday's big move. Like, you don't really want to be fighting that. Although the 15 has broken back above, you know, you're kind of... Yeah, look at this on the 30-minute. You're at major support on the 30-minute time frame. And you got major resistance here. So it's a little bit of a tough range here as well. You'll probably still see a decent move on NQ compared to gold, because it hasn't moved so much in Asia. Like, gold's had a huge, like, massive drop today, but NQ hasn't moved as much. But yeah, this 30 support doesn't look the nicest. I wouldn't really want to be a seller here. You broke above, you're breaking back below, tapping into hourly lows. Yeah, it's not the cleanest, man. Yeah, I agree. Look at that again. Look at the price action oil, guys. We came down, grabbed lows, closed bullish, grabbed the highs, straight back down. A lot of chop here on oil. So we got a lot of chop on NQ. We got a lot of chop on oil. I would say copper's probably looking the nicest, but it doesn't look like we're following through just yet. You'd have to see a fake out buy on copper. Yeah, wait. I think patience will be key this morning. Patience will be key. And it is Friday as well, guys. It is also Friday, and there's no real news today. There's nothing big lined up for the day, and it is the final day of the week, which could be a bit of a breather day because we have seen some incredible moves in these markets this week. Did I take any trades yesterday? Did I take any trades yesterday in New York? I didn't actually. I missed some. There were some great buys yesterday in the New York session. Really, really good buys. I unfortunately didn't trade New York yesterday, but there were some amazing fake out buys. Once you grabbed the lows and broke back above, you had a perfect double top here, and there was an incredible. Didn't come until like 4 p.m. London time, which is pretty late in the day, but it was an amazing play here. Oh no, actually that's not true. I took a loss on one of my accounts here on Topstep yesterday, shorting the pullback into this trend line. I actually I took a $300 loss here yesterday, where I took sells here and had my stops here, and I was looking for this to come down for a play like this. But you came up for an extra liquidity grab before pushing lower, and unfortunately wasn't watching it, but there was actually great re-entries here. Once you came up, you had like a second liquidity grab, held this resistance. Once you see this candle rejecting the resistance and closing bearish, this would have been a really nice short, shorting down into that trend line. I missed that one yesterday, unfortunately. Before then, tapping all the way into the lows and then just completely reversing. You guys who trade New York, there was some huge opportunity on gold. Huge opportunities on gold. Got a lot of stocks. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, if you can re-break the lows, you could have a bit of a pullback. But it's a pretty solid move up yesterday. Very solid move up. But remember, guys, if you've had a great week, don't feel like you need to force a trade on a Friday. I do think you're going to get some decent plays today. I just don't think you're going to get any high probability setups in the next, couple of like 15-minute candles, especially for gold. Like this would have been lovely buying this fake out on gold, but it kind of just opened and just pushed. That's why we were shorting this pre-London. But now you're having a decent squeeze here, a decent squeeze. But what is nice is gold's not peaking all-time highs. This is great, although this is having a bit of a sell-off and we're finally starting to pull back. This is, to be honest, this is nicer than when we're peaking all-time highs, because when you're peaking all-time highs, it's very difficult to trade. But now we're actually having a bit of a pullback. Next week, if we close like this, same as what I said with the euro, we're going to look for gold to have a top wick, and then you're going to look for a bit of a pullback here on gold. I think you can get some really nice sells. Really nice sells. Let's have a look at the pound. We had a look at euro. Let's have a quick look at the pound. It's pretty similar. Again, yep, weekly coming into some major resistance levels after having a massive move. Starting to look pretty overextended. Not as nice as gold. I look at this on the pound ago where you broke back lower, you've engulfed back bullish yesterday. So I look at this in the pound. The pound looks like it could potentially squeeze higher. A 4-hour time frame here. What have we done in Asia? We've had a decent sell-off, trying to get back higher. Let's have a look at the hourly time frame here. Decent push up here, 7 a.m. London time. But again, straight into resistance. Very tough. Very tough on pretty much all markets unless you get 15-minute fake outs on copper, which it doesn't look like you're going to get. I don't think you're going to break back above, which is a little bit patient. So you guys need to feel free to shoot over any questions as well. We don't have to just stare at markets. You guys can ask me any questions about trading psychology. Anything you guys are interested in? Keeping off stream. Yep, sounds good. I'll catch you later, man. Appreciate you tuning in. Same as you guys on Zoom. If you guys have any charts that you want to break down or you want to look at anything else that I may have missed, feel free to send it over, guys. A lot of markets are looking a little bit choppy here in the London Open. But like I say, it's only 8:23 London time. You guys who are trading for the rest of the day, you've got plenty of time here. If the charts don't make sense right now, rather than trying to force a trade and getting stopped out, just be patient, wait, and I can guarantee you the next hour, 2-3 hours, the charts will make much more sense. Bitcoin, yep, absolutely, yep. You can have a look at Bitcoin, yeah, for sure. Do you have any tips to not focus on the first payout, but really to trading? Any tips to not focusing on the payout? The thing that kind of held me back a lot was, and it's just a pure psychological thing, is is focusing in too much on having to meet the $200 green days. Like I could be up 150 on a trade, price could come into where I know I should be getting out, and I'd be like, no, I want to squeeze out my extra $50, and then it just hit me at break even. But even when you stack up, you know, them $150 days, like they still add up towards the payout. So stay super consistent, and just that's why it's always good just to, like, honestly, I'd say to you guys, even hide this, like hide everything, and just focus on taking good trades. Like honestly, hide everything. Go on here, hide all of this. Maybe keep that open just so you know you're not losing too much, but hide everything here. Don't focus on the balance. Don't focus on how much you're up on the day. Change this to where is it on the charts? How do you change it to ticks? Change this to the ticks, and don't focus on the dollar amount, and just focus on taking good trades. And I can guarantee you will get there. You'll get your first payout much quicker when you stop focusing on trying to get the first payout, which doesn't really make sense. Like, how can you get your first payout quicker if you're not focusing on the payout? Because you're just focusing on actually taking good trades. And a byproduct of taking good trades is the payout. So do all the right things that you know you should be doing anyway. Trade as normal, then look back at the end of the month and go, oh, sweet. That was a good month. I made this much money and I hit this made $200 green days. And without even realizing, you'll be eligible for your first payout, and then amazing, you can take it. So just focus on taking good trades and focus on becoming a good trader and doing the things that you know you should be doing. And like I say, as a byproduct, you'll get that payout quicker than if you just focus on it and you're just so glued to the dollar amount every single time. What did I do before I got into trading? I've done a lot of stuff. I'm 30 years old now, so I got into trading when I was about 22, 23, towards the end of my university degree. And I worked in marketing jobs after that. I did that for about like 2-3 years. And after about 3 years of grinding at trading, I then decided to take the leap into the leap of traveling and trading. But I've done, many different things in the past, but I come from a digital marketing background. That was what I did after uni. And the only reason I did that is because I thought it'd be pretty relaxed and I could focus on trading. And, I knew I could eventually take it online, which, again, would give me more freedom to be able to focus on trading. There were so many times in the beginning where, I focused on doing a job that I absolutely hated. And I would always try and take out that negativity on the charts. And that just set me back further and further and further. So, when you guys do have to work a job and, work a part-time job before you can substitute trading full-time, honestly, do something you enjoy. You're doing trading because you're working on something to achieve more. So do something you enjoy and it gives you good headspace. So, you don't leave your job and go, oh man, I'm so stressed. I hate this job so much. I just want to escape it, because you will take that negativity out on the charts. And that's what I did for a long, long, long time. And it held me back for longer than it should have had. I'd have a rough day at work and I'd be so annoyed at my job that I just wanted to escape. I'd come back, I'd put all that negativity on the charts and then wonder why I wasn't succeeding. Do I have aspirations to be a live trader? Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. If I only maybe need like 1 or 2 more payouts from my London account, and then we should be up. I had the email recently, so yeah, definitely. Again, it's not like a goal that I'm trying to achieve. I just know that it's going to be. This is a decent rejection here. Make it some shorts on gold. I just know that it's going to come with good trading. So I'm not focusing on getting, going live or anything like that. I'm just focused on being a good trader. I know if I continue to do that, that will be a byproduct. This is actually quite nice here on gold. We're starting to see a decent rejection, which could give us some shorts, because I am wanting to short gold. If we get a 15-minute close like this, guys, if we get a top wick, I'm going to look to short this actually. This is actually shaping up now. Let me have a look at the 5-minute here. Because you're at big hourly resistance. We have had a massive sell-off in Asia and pre-London. We may form an evening star here on gold. So if we open up with a top wick, I'm going to look to short this on gold, guys. I'm going to go... wait, what would stops be before I consider... Stops will be about 52. So I'll be risking my 200 up. Yeah, let me go... I'm going to go micros. Let me see. Yeah, this is looking to be a nice 15-minute close here, guys. If we get a decent close here and we can pull back into this area, I'm going to look see if I can get a pullback short here. And I want to continue following this massive move down here. Even just to pull back into... Where was the hourly open? Back down into these areas. Play this little range. From here to here, about a 50 tick range. 20 seconds until this 15-minute close, guys. If we open and instantly come up, I'm going to look to get short here. About 5 micros, and I'll be risking off closures back above this zone. This is looking to be a nice rejection here. Let's see, 8 seconds. 15's looking good. 30 minutes looking good. You got previous 30-minute lows as well. Let's see if we can open an instantly push up. I want to open an instantly push up though. You just had a decent 30-minute closure there. Big rejection. I want to short into these 30-minute lows. So this will be my target. So I don't want to push down into them just yet. I want to see us push up, and then I want to short into these 30-minute lows. So 30-minute low is going to be my liquidity level. So let me go back to 5. 5-minute breaking back above. It's quite a tight range. This would be a management point. I'd be break even here, but I want to see if I can squeeze this lower. Let's see. Decent retracement. Yeah, all right, I'm gonna have I'm putting a sell stop on the break of this low here, on around the flip of the candle. I'm not gonna take the short entry here because you've already come down and then up. But if we can re-break this area and continue pushing down, great. And I'm gonna have stops probably just above this previous 5. Just see if we can get this for a little scalp down. Management at these lows for about 30 ticks, but I want to see if we can potentially continue selling off here. Most profitable session and thoughts on Asian. Usually London. A lot of my trades recently have been in Asia, to be honest. Asia's been like the new New York. Asia's been having just some phenomenal moves. So this month, Asia by far. My best trades have been in Asia. Yeah, I had some incredible trades in Asia. Should I get my fund to 54,000, then take a 2k payout and leave a 2k buffer? It depends on how much you risk per trade, man. But again, I would just try and trade consistently and see how well you do on the month. If we start re-breaking these lows, guys, I want to see this 5-minute close back below the support. If we don't close below the support, we may just create a little bit of a range here. So I'm going to be aggressive with the management if we do get tagged in here. Because although we have bounced at this resistance, we are at some support. But previous 30-minute lows do look pretty logical. It's about a 40-tick trade. It depends. Again, it depends on how long you have been at the combines as well. Like if you've been at it for like a good couple of months and you haven't seen anything from it, it can become very like draining sometimes. So even if you just take out like a couple of $100, it honestly helps you so much mentally. And it gives you that motivation to keep trading well. So I wouldn't necessarily wait until you get to a certain dollar amount. Depends on how you feel mentally. Reward yourself. You just tapped into 15-minute lows. You tapped into 15-minute lows. You're holding this little support. Let's see. Yeah, it depends on how big your losses are as well. You know, if you want to leave yourself a good buffer to say if you take like 3 to 5 losses in a row, you don't want to be blowing the account. So I don't know how much you maybe risking per trade, but for me, I'll at least give myself 1,500 to 2,000 plus dollar buffer, which I'm going to do on my London account. I'm going to take a payout after this on the London account. I'm going to leave about $2,500 buffer. And we got 1 minute to 5 seconds close, you guys. See if we can break the support. I need to see this 5-minute break the support in this 5-minute candle. Otherwise, we've got 1 minute till it's going to close. Let me just cancel and wait. Let me wait. I'm going to wait. I kind of want to see this already break the support already, but it's got 1 minute till it's going to close. So let me just see this 5-minute close and then see if I can get short. So I'm canceling my order there for now, guys. I'm just going to wait for this candle to close because we are holding this support. Holding this support, holding this resistance. Although I'd love to see it break, we're stalling a little bit, and we got time here. We got time, but we are starting to see some volume, which is good. Are you using break even more than stop losses? No, not really. I would say probably maybe manage my risk before full stop loss, but yeah, I'd say probably more losses than break evens. Don't take break evens too often. I think I took 2 break-evens yesterday, or 2 little losses, which are basically break-evens, but... what about trailing? I personally don't trail. For the way that gold moves, I kind of find it pretty difficult to trail because you have these, you know, like decent pushes up and then big pullbacks, which if you trail too aggressive, gold will always stop you. If you're trading something like NQ, you know, it could be different, but for gold, it kind of doesn't really move like that intraday. NQ squeezing low, but again, looks pretty choppy. Let's see this 5-minute close, guys. About to close back bullish after tapping into the lows. So I don't want to be selling this just yet. The company I work for is closing next week. I'll be a full-time trader. Good luck with it, man. Don't put any pressure on yourself. You know, if you do go through a rough period, don't put too much pressure on yourself to have to force trading. You will trade best when you trade from the perspective of not needing to force trades. That's what, you know, when I first went full-time in trading before I did any of this streaming stuff or shared anything online, the first couple of weeks were really tough because I just put so much pressure on myself and it was so unnecessary. Like I was saying to myself, like, oh no, I have to make this much today and I have to make this much this week. And all that pressure made me trade worse. So do whatever you need to do to trade from the perspective of, I don't have to make money. I just want to take good trades. And by doing that, you know, I will make money. But if you focus on having to make money to, you know, do all these things, it'll put a lot of pressure on yourself. So we've got 5-minute fake out sales here on gold. Any tips on how to work on holding trades? I only trade micros. A lot of my trades that I do hold, if it's kind of like this like on is a little bit ranging, I'll just set some alerts on trading view, like kind of when it starts coming into my management areas or stop loss area or TP area, and I'll kind of just try and walk away. It depends on what your intentions were for the trade. Like, did you know, if you were, so for instance, on gold, I shorted gold today down into these lows here on like 3 of the accounts. And, you know, I didn't know that this was going to rip down. I just, you know, I was shorting into these lows and that was my plan. So I got short and I exited at these lows and I was pretty happy with that trade. Did I plan for it to rip all this way down? Not really. When I saw this big move down, was I a little bit like, oh, it's a little bit annoying? Yeah, I was, but my plan was to short here and exit here, and I followed my plan. You know, I don't know what's going to happen after these lows, so therefore I can't be frustrated when it does rip down this much, because there's nothing to say it couldn't have grabbed these lows and squeezed higher, and if I'd held runners, I would have got stopped out. So it depends on how, you know, what you plan for the trade to be. If you do plan to you know, let's say if today you shorted here, and your plan was to hold this for the short term to these lows, well, it's always best to, you know, secure something at the first barrier, which to me was here, and then just set some alerts and you know, manage on the higher time frame. That's for gold anyway. If I manage too aggressively on gold, I'm trying to hold some big trades, it'll probably stop me out before the big move happens. If I get my short, you know, this is just the way I trade. A lot of my trades are based on the 30-minute. So if I get my short on the 5-minute, I'm trying to trade this for 30, yeah, I'll just set my alerts and, you know, manage my risk as it hits these levels. But I personally don't really hold runners too much, to be honest. Depends on what size you're trading as well and how much of a runner you do want to hold. I prefer just to have my entry and be out personally. So not really breaking this support, guys. I'm glad we cancelled the short order. We're trying to squeeze a little bit higher. The 15-minute is squeezing back up again, which if we just hide all this for a second, we did grab the lows. We're having a bit of a pullback. So unless we start re-breaking the lows, you know, we can look for the sells. But we're creating a little bit of a range, which again, it was what we expected. What would you recommend trading 1 hour of Asia or multiple hours? Well, when I trade Asia, which I have been doing a lot this week and this month, is I personally trade the 30-minute. I trade 30-minute closures. So I just wait for my 30-minute closures. So for instance, today, as soon as I saw this 30-minute grab the highs and hold this resistance, then I'm firing up my laptop and I'm jumping on the charts and I'm looking to take my trades. But when it's kind of, you know, not really showing me anything, for example, you know, when this 30-minute closes doji, well, if this 30-minute closes doji, I don't need to sit here and watch this candle because I don't know what's going to happen at this point. And if I don't know what's going to happen, I need to wait for a 30-minute closure. Well, then I'll look at the time, but okay, cool. Right now it's 8:39. Let me just come back at the next hourly closure so I don't have to actually sit here and watch it. So that's how I like to do it, just to save myself from not sitting here and watching it all day long. Because if I sit here and watch, you know, the charts for like 2, 3, 4 hours, I'm going to burn all my mental capital and I'm going to end up making silly mistakes. So for me personally, for trading Asia, because sometimes, you know, Asia can be fantastic. Sometimes Asia might be a little bit slower. I'll manage 30-minute closures. If it doesn't close, giving me what I would like to see, well, then that's fine. I'll walk away and I'll come back at the next 30-minute close. And that's how I like to do it. And as soon as I get, you know, a closure, for instance here, grabbing highs, closing bearish, cool. Then I'll fire up the charts and I'll short this candle. But for instance here, I saw this 30-minute close today. And this grabbed the lows, held support, held resistance. Okay, I don't know what the next 30 candles is going to do. So rather than sitting here watching the 5-minute, I'll close my charts, come back to the next 30. Cool. Then I'll get my trade. You want to use your time productively in the markets. If you sit here and watch, you know, price create ranges all day long, you're going to end up making silly mistakes and you're going to burn yourself out before the real move comes in. Caught that NQ pop. Is it nice? Let's have a look. Is it having a squeeze lower? Yeah, so you came down, tapped into lows. Again, it's a little bit of a tough range. Again, unfortunately, where's my analysis gone? Kind of playing from one range to another. It's a little bit tough here as well. NQ is looking a little bit tough. I think most markets are looking a little bit tough here this morning on Friday, guys. You got copper buys back above here, but again, copper not really showing us too much, unfortunately. You know, I'd love to execute some trades with you guys, but I don't want to take a trade for the sake of it. Decent sell-off on oil. Would I have shorted this? Well, how did the previous Audi close? We held support and closed bullish, so I personally wouldn't have shorted this anyway. We spoke about the sells pre-London on gold. We still could short here. We could still look for sells here on gold, guys. I'm hoping it comes on whilst we're still here. But I do like gold to continue selling off today. So we still got to keep an eye on gold. Gold's not off the cards just yet. The only thing is, it just has had such an insane move already. Like this is a, you know, almost a 700 tick move, which is huge, 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 huge. I wanted to ask you something. I've got a $25,000 live account. What should my expectation of a daily P&L and risk per trade? Well, there's never any expectations in the markets. You never expect anything from the markets. You take what the markets give you. So don't put any expectations on yourself. You're not going to get trades every day, and don't trade the P&L either way. Just trade the charts. Don't focus on the P&L. Focus on the charts. In terms of risk per trade, it depends on your risk appetite, man. For me personally, if I was trading a $25,000 account, I'd be risking anywhere from maybe 1% to 2%. It's not really something that I can tell you to do. It all depends on how consistent you are, your risk appetite. But one thing I will tell you is try not to have any expectations of trying to make a specific amount a day. I don't ever have any goals on I need to make this much a day. Make it sells here again, guys. Let's see 15. 2 minutes. 2 minutes at 15 is going to close. Trying to squeeze lower. May get some more sells here. I come onto the charts every single day with no expectations at all. If anything, I come on and I'm like, I'm accepting already that I'm going to lose money today. But I never come on being like, nah, today I have to make this much money. So never expect anything from the markets. Take what the markets give you in terms of your risk. If it was me, I'd be risking 1% to 2%. Again, it completely depends on your risk appetite though. 5-minute break and back out here, guys. I may get short in the next 1 minute when this 15 closes. The 15 is trying to push back lower. I really want to see this range broken, though. I don't want to short right at this support. Spent the last 2 months learning expensive lessons about greed and pressure. Yeah, pressure's very, very, very hard. You want to remove all pressure from yourself. Don't put any pressure on yourself to, have to make a certain dollar amount, have to make a certain return a month. Like, you just take what the markets give you. For me, these markets have given me fantastic trades this month, but I never expected that. I just traded my plan and took my trades. What is my ideal risk to trade at the 50,000 to create a buffer? Let me just see if we're going to get this 15 closure. And I'll show you my main London account. I'll show you what I've been using. I just want to see if we're going to get these sells here. 30 minutes looking all right. 15 minutes getting a decent closure. Let's see. I may get short here in a second, guys. I'm going to look for a quick scalp, but kind of it's coming back down now. 15's looking quite nice. These are our 30-minute lows. It's a little bit choppy, but it's kind of pushing down as we expected. 30 seconds. To hide your P&L, which I recommend you guys hide everything, you just can do it here on the TopstepX platform in the settings in privacy. 18 seconds here, guys. Let's see if we open and instantly push up. I'm going to see if we can get short. The 15 minutes creating a nice evening star play here. We've got 15 minutes till that Audi's going to close as well. Audi's looking good as well. Audi's looking good. Let's see. I'm going to see if we can get short here in a second, guys. Short into that previous 30-minute low, though. It's going to have to be aggressive management. Let me see. 15. I'm going to take a sell here, guys. Oh, no. What account am I on? What, am I on my... Oh, I'm not on micros. Oh, no. I'm back on normal. Oh, no. I was... I'm not going to chase this now, guys. I didn't realize I wasn't on micros. I tried to short... well, I'm glad I didn't get executed there. I tried to short 5 micros here. My plan was... that would have been an expensive lesson. I'm glad I got rejected there. I'm not short this, guys. I tried to short 5 micros. My plan is to sell into these lows and see if you can continue squeezing lower. I may have missed that one. That could have been an expensive loss. I don't want to chase this. Could we still come down for some lows? Wow, imagine if I shorted 5 minis on gold. Full margin Fridays. That's what they call it, I think. I mean, we'll come back to where I would have entered anyway. That would have been a very, very expensive mistake. You guys would have seen us going full tilt mode. No, I'm not going to chase this, guys. I'm going to give it a second. The 15-minute did close with a nice 15-minute evening star there. You came up, you grabbed the highs, closed bearish. You're squeezing back up here. Right back at the support as well. Let me see. What was the question about my 50,000? Your ideal risk to trade to create on a 50,000 to create the buffer. Potential sell here on the break of the low. Let me just see. Oh, I'm glad I didn't short that. He broke below, breaking back above. If we re-break this low, I'm going to consider a sell stop, but we're ranging. So mine on this account, which I have had since we've had this account since 27th of January. I was only really risking like $250 to $500 per trade. Sometimes, you know, and that's with me, you know, managing my risks. Sometimes I would have a hard stop a little bit lower, just as like a worst case scenario, which did get hit like once, but for the most part, yeah, I'm trying to keep my risk at least below like 300 per trade. And I built myself up a pretty decent buffer here. This was a payout here. And I'm going to take another payout on this. This is why I've locked this one out. I'm going to take another payout on this one today as well. But yeah, I personally like to leave at least like 1.5 to 2,000 as a buffer, personally. Yeah, good miss. I'm just looking at here on my clean chart. Yeah, 15-minute tapped right into the low, so you would have had to be aggressive with the management. Yeah, good miss. That would have been an expensive end to the Friday, that's for sure. Yeah, hiding the balance in P&L has been a game changer. Yeah, absolutely, man. Honestly, I highly recommend that for you guys because it's so easy to become so glued to trading the P&L. And honestly, guys, you guys are going to have the best success in your combines and your funded accounts when you just focus on taking good trades. And like I said to you guys, if you're taking good trades and you're managing your risk, you're going to make money. But don't focus so much about the money. Just focus on taking good trades. I just passed on the combine. Amazing, man. Congrats. Only had to make $62, but it was the hardest $62 to make. Yeah, honestly, that last, you know, even $200-300 is by far the hardest. By far the hardest. Again, though, this comes back to not trading the P&L and just focusing on taking good trades. And then before you know it, you look back at the end of the month, you go, oh, sweet, I've just passed a combine. Or, oh, sweet, without even focusing on it, I've by far made my $200 green days. I can take a payout. These are all things I don't focus on, but as a byproduct of taking good trades, these are the outcome of that. But amazing work on passing the combine, man. Good job. Good week. Good way to end your Friday off strong. Amazing work. Amazing work. 50s, not 150s. I just like the drawdown on the 50s, and I just like to stick to the one contract size and prefer to copy trade. So I'm just going to trade the one contract, which I, do very, very well and consistent. I just find it easier to manage my contract size on that. Let's say if I do take a payout on this one and then I, lose this one, then yeah, maybe I'll start to add some 150s, but I'm pretty happy with the returns that I'm making, even just trading 550s and copy trading. Yeah, 62 can feel like 1,000. Yeah, 100% it can. It's honestly is the hardest part. It's the hardest part. It's such a psychological barrier. Can you trade Forex on Topstep? You can trade foreign exchange currencies on the futures markets, absolutely. So Topstep is a futures funding platform. So if you like to trade Euro USD, if you want to trade that in the futures, it's just 6E, which is Euro futures. If you like to trade AUD USD, well, it's just Australian dollar 6A. So I come from a foreign exchange background, mainly trading gold, XAU USD. But now I just trade GC, which is the exact same thing, just the futures chart. So yes, you can trade foreign exchange currencies on Topstep. You can trade actually a very large amount as well. Like a New Zealand dollar, then you can change the yen, the euro, New Zealand dollar. You can trade a lot. Oh, can I see more? If I go here, 6. Here, look. Trade the Swiss franc, the yen, can trade micro, euro, USD, Canadian dollar, British pound. Wow, this weather's crazy. New Zealand dollar, micro, British pound. Even trade the Mexican peso if you really want to. Yeah, you can trade a large amount. You can trade oil as well. Goldie just in a little bit of a range here today, guys. If you guys did take this short, to be honest, I would be out of this short. Let's just say if we did get tagged in this short. Stop is going to be above this zone. The second we close back above, me personally, guys, I'd be getting out here right away. That's not what I'd want to see. Therefore, I'd cut the trade like minus 26 and wait. You broke below the support. You broke back above. There's my fake out. There's no reason for me to hold my short. So if you guys did short that, that would be my exit. I wouldn't want to hold that trade. How many trades do I take on average a month? I would say, again, honestly, it depends on what the markets give me. And like I was just showing you guys here, this isn't a normal month. Like this is absolutely. I sure as hell wish it was a normal month, but this is not a normal month for me. I would say on average, I maybe take 2 to maybe more. I'd say like 4 to 5 trades a week. 4 to 5 trades a week, something like that. Honestly, it depends. Like some days I could have 3 trades. Some days I might have none. It honestly just depends on what the markets give me. But on average, yeah, I would say I'm around like 4 to 5 a week. Most of my trades would be London, but recently a lot of my trades have been Asia because Asia's just been huge. What's your mindset on when you're waiting for a candle to close, but it moves too far in the direction you were aiming for? Nothing. I just accept it and wait, man. It's fine. It doesn't happen very often. But when it does, it just is what it is. For instance, here today, waiting for the candle to close below. It's not very often that it just rips down, but if it doesn't, it hits my liquidity. That's fine. I just accept it. It doesn't happen super often, but if it does, I'll just accept it and walk away, man. There's nothing you can do. You can either start revenge trading it and get chopped up, or you can just accept it and wait for the next trade. Volatility like in the London session compared to GC recently, compared to New York. Recently it has been very large, very, very good volume. The thing is, when I'm trading gold, I'm only really going for, 20, 30, 40, 50 ticks, which if I'm normally just trading one mini, that's like $200 to $500. So if you were to measure that on gold, I mean, these ranges are very big recently, but in this retracement alone, we've pushed up like almost 300 ticks. So the London ranges at the minute are very large, as large as New York. Usually, it would be smaller than New York, but not too small that you can't still get fantastic positions. In normal markets, I'd say you'd probably get like a 100-tick range on gold in New York, and you might get a 50-tick range in London, or maybe a little bit more, maybe a 100-tick range in London, 200 ticks in New York. But recently, Asia's had huge volume, London's had huge volume, and New York's also had huge volume. That's why we've been absolutely taking advantage of these markets. So there is, there can be a little bit less volume than New York, or it might require a little bit more patience, but you can still get really, really nice trades. I personally love my Asia and London trades. It all comes back down to what suits your schedule as well. That's, again, the reason I do love to trade gold is because it moves so well in all of my sessions. It's not my goal to trade every single session, but it's nice to know that what I'm trading does move well in each session. Therefore, if there's a day where I can't trade Asia, like yesterday, well, that's fine. I can come on and trade London and still get some good moves. So I didn't trade Asia yesterday, but I got some nice trades in London, which there was this huge move in Asia. I didn't get that, but guess what? You still get your very nice trades here in London as well. Which in London yesterday, it was from this support, it was like a 200 tick bounce, which is very, very large. Very, very large. I'm in shorts from 33.12 and looking for 32.88. What would be my advice? So you're short from, what's your exit plan, man? You're short from, 33.12. Is that on the currency, on the futures chart? 33.12. Wait, am I missing something here? 33.12. What am I missing here? You're short from 33.12, which is here. You're targeting 32.88. Oh, what have I just done? Sorry. Profit 32.88. So short from here. You're looking to target. Yeah, that looks like a pretty decent target. So short from probably around somewhere around here. Let's see. I am looking for sells as well. I'm looking to short into these lows. So pretty much we're looking to sell similar area. I think this is looking good to me. Like I think you're gonna get the nicest shorts in 9 a.m. because you're getting a pretty decent. I would see the hourly close. But you're getting a very, very nice hourly rejection here of a very nice level of resistance, which is good. So in terms of just the high time frame levels, we do have some support down here. So if I was shorting this personally, again, there's no right or wrong answer. This is just my outlook. If I was shorting from here, this would be a decent management level, personally. As soon as we tap back into here, where we tried to break back below, but we got straight back above. So you could pull back into here and squeeze higher potentially, but you are also right at a big level of resistance. So you kind of have to see where the market is going to break out. This is a pretty decent hourly rejection though. So what I'd be looking for you guys who are going to trade into the 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. is if this candle can close like this, a little bit of a top wick, and then see if you can get a bit of a pullback. As long as you hold this resistance, again, it depends on what your, was this for a scalp or was it for a higher time frame move? And my exits, if I was short here, would be if you re-break these hourly highs, this high here, there's a high chance you're going to probably, I'd say, pull back into these areas. So you wouldn't really want to see this current hourly high broken. So I think that'd be a good management point. And a good break-even point would be here. And then for me, a good downside target would be these two hourly equal lows. Personally, man, that's just my neutral outlook. Don't let me talk you in and out of a position. But yeah, I would say as long as you can hold this hourly high, these hourly lows look like a pretty decent short, which I think you're probably going to get closer to like 9 to 10 a.m.-ish. Oh, long copper. This copper breaking back above. We got about, not quite. Yeah, I like copper to have a retracement as well. We could break back above, yeah, copper to have a bit of a retracement. Yeah, absolutely, man. Respect your rules on size down, 100%. So we're coming up to that 9 a.m. candle, guys. Zoom, guys, give me 2 seconds. So my plan for the rest of the day, guys, before we wrap up here, I want to give you guys what I'm looking at for the rest of the day, because I still think you can get some decent trades here. Unfortunately, it's not coming when we're jumping on. But yeah, same thing. I like this. Wait, where's my... Let me go back to my MGC chart. I like these sells on gold. Me personally, I am going to wait for price to break back below here, because this is a pretty decent break back above a very, very nice level. And if you do wait for the closure back below, well, from here back down into these areas is a 270 tick range. I'm very happy to stay patient for that. If we do break back above, you could be due a little bit of a correction. But right now, you're kind of stuck in between two big areas after, you know, a like 700 tick push down in the Asian session, which is huge. So don't be too surprised to see price create a bit of a range. But if you do get breaks back below this level, I'm also going to look for some shorts. So break back below here, I'm going to see if we can get some shorts. If you re-break these hourly highs, yeah, you might see a little bit of a pullback. But we've already had some, you know, some amazing pushes down pre-London. So you guys on YouTube, I appreciate you guys taking the time to tune in. We've been on here for an hour and a half. Remember, guys, we've got D coming on right after me as well, so be sure to stay tuned. No trades for me here in the London Open just yet. I'm still going to stick around for like the next, you know, couple of hours, monitor some 30-minute closures, and see if I can potentially get some fake outs for sells or break it back above some highs for some longs. But I appreciate you guys taking the time to tune in. I hope you guys did learn something here today. Remember, stay consistent, manage your guys' risk, whichever trades you are taking. And we'll be back again next week, guys, where we will absolutely do it all over again. So great week in the markets, guys. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you guys same time again next Monday, 7:30 to about 9 a.m. London time. Trade safe. Enjoy your weekend, guys, and I'll see you all next weekend. Peace.